It began as a tragedy that broke millions of hearts. Menglong, a beloved Chinese actor adored for his warmth and talent, was suddenly gone. His passing left fans in shock, his name echoing through social media as people demanded to know what had really happened. The official explanations were vague, and the inconsistencies only made the mystery deeper. Something about his death did not feel right. And soon, strange pieces of evidence began to surface, pieces that painted a picture far darker than anyone could have imagined. In one of his final interviews, Menglong reportedly told a British psychic named William that his fans would find the truth hidden within his live streams. At first, this sounded poetic, maybe even symbolic, but after his death, those words started to haunt his followers. Thousands of people around the world began rewatching every live stream, every frame of video, hoping to find the hidden message that he spoke of. What they uncovered was chilling. During one particular recording, careful viewers noticed something strange reflected in the bottle of water placed beside him. The reflection did not match the setting of the room. Instead of the bright studio where Yu was supposedly filming, the reflection showed a dim, narrow space, almost like a tunnel or underground chamber, and some thought it was a trick of the light. Others insisted it was real. But when multiple clips revealed similar distortions, the theory took root. Menglong might have been held somewhere against his will, long before the world learned of his death. Then came an even more horrifying discovery. In a live stream from December 2024, filmed while he was climbing Mount Tai, fans noticed that something about his smile seemed off. When the footage was slowed down and compared frame by frame, it became clear one of his lower right molars was missing. This might sound insignificant. The fans who had followed him for years knew his appearance by heart when they compared it with footage from 2015 during the filming of The Princess Wei Young. Every tooth was perfectly aligned back then. His smile was flawless, but now a gap had appeared where none existed before. The missing tooth set off a storm of speculation. Could it have been an accident, or was it something much more sinister? Observers pointed out that in the months leading up to his death, Yu was rarely seen without a mask, even in casual settings. At first, everyone thought it was simply to prevent illness or protect his privacy. But now, people began to wonder, was he hiding something? Was there visible damage that someone did not want the public to see? Every new image added to the confusion. In fan-captured videos, his face seemed slightly swollen, his speech softer, almost hesitant. It was as if he was in pain, but trying desperately to keep performing, to act normal. Some fans described it as the look of someone who wanted to speak out but couldn't. Others called it a silent plea for help. Soon, Chinese social media platforms started censoring posts that discussed his missing teeth. Comments were deleted. Videos disappeared, and entire accounts were suspended. But the internet never forgets. Screenshots and saved clips began circulating across Reddit, Twitter, and Telegram. As the silence from the official side grew louder, the determination of the fans only strengthened. They refused to let the story fade away. What came next deepened the mystery even further. An alleged leaked forensic report began to spread online, claiming that Menglong's teeth had all been removed. The document was never officially confirmed, but many claimed it matched the style and language of authentic medical reports in China. If true, it meant that Yu's death was not just tragic, it was brutal. To understand the context, fans started comparing his case to that of another well-known actor, Qiao Henliang, who had also died under suspicious circumstances. In Qiao's autopsy photos, followers pointed out the same detail: missing molars. The parallels were disturbing. Two young, healthy actors, both reportedly losing their teeth before their deaths, both surrounded by unexplained silence from authorities and media alike. These findings led to an eerie question: could there be a hidden process behind these disappearances? Some speculated about illegal body preservation experiments. Others whispered about powerful organizations using human remains for art exhibitions. These theories might sound wild, but the internet's obsession was no longer about truth alone. It was about justice for someone they believed had been silenced. As the fan investigations grew, another fact surfaced. Menglong had often spoken about fear and control in his final months. In one short clip, he joked about being watched whenever he went live. At the time, it was dismissed as humor. Now, it sounded like a warning that no one had taken seriously. Everything about his final appearances seemed to carry coded, meaning the subtle glances off camera, the nervous smiles, the long pauses. It was as if he wanted to say something but couldn't. As if someone or something was holding him back. Fans began to piece together what they believed were hidden signals, repeated phrases, strange background noises. Even specific times he would go live. Was it all coincidence? Or a desperate cry for help, carefully hidden inside the digital noise? By now, what had begun as curiosity had turned into a global obsession. Forums buzzed with frame-by-frame analysis of his videos. TikTok and YouTube were flooded with side-by-side comparisons of his teeth, his face, even the light reflections around him. Some called it fan overreaction. Others said it was the beginning of uncovering one of the most terrifying scandals in the entertainment industry. And yet, the deeper people dug, the more they realized every lead seemed to connect to something bigger, something organized. There were rumors of censorship, powerful names behind the scenes, and documents that vanished within hours of being uploaded. Was Menglong's message to the British psychic his final attempt to tell the world the truth? Had he hidden the clues in plain sight, trusting that his fans would uncover them one day? One thing was certain: too many coincidences had piled up for this to be dismissed as mere online hysteria. And just when the trail seemed to go cold, a new name appeared. Someone so powerful, so untouchable, that even government agencies reportedly refused to question him. Who was this man? And what did he have to do with Menglong's disappearance? That is where the story takes a darker turn. The disappearance of Menglong was already wrapped in mystery. But what followed after the first discoveries took the story to a terrifying new depth. When the alleged forensic report surfaced online claiming that all of Yu's teeth had been removed, the internet exploded with speculation. People around the world began asking the same question: who would do something like that? And why? At first, the leaked document was dismissed as a hoax, but those who examined it closely noticed it carried the same formatting, codes, and medical terminology found in official Chinese forensic papers. Even the phrasing was consistent with the style used in previous legal autopsies. It was too precise to be random. The more people analyzed it, the more it appeared real. Then, an old case began to resurface: the tragic death of actor Qiao Renliang years earlier. Fans of both actors started comparing details. In photographs of Qiao's autopsy and behind-the-scenes footage from his final projects, viewers pointed out that his molars were also missing. When placed side by side, the similarities were impossible to ignore. Two actors, both young and healthy, both with mysteriously missing teeth before their untimely deaths. It no longer looked like coincidence. Soon, a chilling theory began to circulate. Could these men have been part of a hidden process, something involving human body preservation, or what some scientists call plastination? For those unfamiliar, plastination is a real technique used in medical education and art exhibitions, where human tissue is replaced with special chemicals to prevent decay. But what if that technique had been taken far beyond its ethical boundaries? Whispers began to spread that human models used in certain exhibitions in China might not have all been voluntary donors. These claims had appeared before, dismissed by authorities as conspiracy. Yet now, with Yu's case echoing the same signs, missing teeth, missing nails, secretive reports, the conversation reignited with greater intensity. Fans and independent researchers began to study the science behind it. According to forensic experts, when preparing a human specimen, technicians often remove teeth and nails. It is said to make the preservation process cleaner, as these parts contain keratin and enamel that do not absorb chemicals easily. But that fact only made things more disturbing. If Yu's teeth and nails were truly removed, it might mean that someone had started preparing his body long before he even died. The thought was unbearable, and yet many believed it. Social media investigators compared every possible clue. They pointed to Yu's fragile health, his constant use of face masks, and his withdrawn personality during his last months. Some said he was under surveillance, forced into isolation, maybe even tortured. The idea was horrifying, but to his most devoted followers, it explained too much to be ignored. Then came the name that changed everything, Guang Li Ming, whispered across Chinese forums and censored almost instantly. Guang Li Ming was rumored to be the powerful figure behind a series of entertainment and media companies, including those linked to Yu Menglong's management. In online discussions, he was described as someone untouchable, a man with connections so deep that even government officials obeyed his calls. Some even said he had the power to silence entire networks of communication. What made the rumors even darker was the timing. After Yu's death, several fans reportedly sent wreaths and memorial tributes to Guang Li Ming's company office, a symbolic act of protest, accusing him of involvement. Astonishingly, online sources claim that Guang himself signed for one of those packages. Hours later, the incident was removed from social media, and accounts discussing it were permanently banned. Within days, new restrictions appeared across the country. Delivery companies reportedly received internal notices forbidding the shipment of any letters, complaints, or materials related to Yu Menglong. If true, it meant that not only was the subject being censored online, but physical mail was being intercepted as well. It was a level of control that stunned even seasoned activists. How could one man have such influence that the entire communication network of a nation would react instantly unless, of course, he wasn't acting alone? This was the moment when public suspicion evolved into a full-blown movement. Internet users began tracing corporate connections. They discovered that Guang Li Ming had ties to a conglomerate that managed multiple entertainment divisions, one of which was linked to Mango Media, the company that had produced several of Yu Menglong's major works. Some even claimed that the organization had a hidden side, a network involving political elites, art collectors, and scientists. Every rumor, every thread led back to one haunting idea. Yu Menglong's death was not an isolated tragedy, but part of a much larger systemic operation. The missing teeth, the sudden censorship. The corporate silence all began to fit together like a puzzle no one wanted to see completed. People began asking if this organization was behind other celebrity deaths as well. Some recalled that many stars who spoke up about unfair treatment or corruption had vanished from the public eye soon after. Could it be coincidence again? Or was the entertainment industry being used as a tool for something far more sinister? But even as these discussions grew louder, so did the response from authorities. Hashtags were deleted. Videos vanished. And entire channels went dark overnight. Influencers who dared to mention Yu Menglong's name in connection with the case found their posts removed. Others received quiet warnings to avoid spreading false information. Despite all of the suppression, the movement did not stop. It went global. Western forums began translating the details, compiling screenshots before they were erased, and building databases of every public clue. Anonymous users from around the world contributed to the timeline, from the first live stream reflections to the final leaks about Guang Li Ming's corporate empire. Each revelation painted a clearer, more horrifying picture. Fans began referring to Guang not just as a businessman, but as a shadow operator, someone who existed above law, shielded by wealth and fear. They believed he controlled not only the media, but also parts of the legal system itself. When people protested online, government responses came within hours. When users demanded transparency, new censorship orders were quietly enforced. If this was true, then the case of Yu Menglong had crossed the line from tragedy into conspiracy, from personal suffering into systemic abuse. Those who followed the investigation began to see a pattern. Every time a person tried to push the story further, something strange happened. Sudden account bans, mysterious technical errors, or even false claims of malware in shared links. It was as if someone was watching, waiting to silence every whisper. At the center of it all stood a man powerful, invisible, untouchable. But as every cover-up in history has proven, the more you try to bury the truth, the more it fights to surface. And soon, the actions of this invisible power would begin to backfire. The public outrage would boil over. And the very companies that once seemed indestructible would begin to crumble under the weight of their own secrets. Because in the third part of this story, the spotlight shifts from a single actor's tragedy to an entire empire on the edge of collapse. As whispers turned into a global outcry, the spotlight shifted from Yu Menglong's mysterious death to the empire that had allegedly profited from his silence. At the center of this storm stood Mango Media, a major entertainment corporation once seen as untouchable. For years, Mango Media had shaped the image of countless Chinese stars, producing shows, films, and music that dominated screens across Asia. But after Yu's death, everything began to unravel. It started with online protests. Fans who had once adored Mango's productions turned against the company overnight. Hashtags calling for boycotts spread across every platform. People demanded that the company issue an official statement addressing Yu Menglong's case and the rumors surrounding his disappearance. But instead of transparency, Mango's first response was denial. They released a short legal statement through their Malaysian branch, claiming that all circulating reports were fabricated and defamatory. They warned that anyone spreading such false information would face legal action. That statement only made things worse to the public. It sounded like the company was hiding something. Instead of clearing their name, Mango Media's silence and threats fueled more suspicion. Within days, Online communities began tracing every possible link between Mango Media and the powerful figure Guang Li-ming, the same man rumored to control networks of influence across entertainment, business, and politics. Screenshots, business records, and leaked partnership lists began appearing on Reddit and X, formerly Twitter, revealing that Mango Media and Guang's affiliated firms had indeed collaborated on several major projects. Meanwhile, fans noticed another disturbing coincidence. Many of Mango Media's former artists, from actors to singers, had faced sudden health problems, mysterious contract disputes, or even early deaths. Among them was Qiao Renliang, whose case shared eerie similarities with Yu Menglong's. Conspiracy theorists began calling Mango a harvest company, suggesting that their stars were not just exploited but consumed emotionally, mentally, and perhaps even physically. While these theories may sound extreme, the public's emotional anger turned them into viral fuel. A massive boycott campaign began to spread across China's social media and diaspora communities worldwide. Viewers stopped streaming Mango-produced dramas. Theaters saw ticket sales plummet for Mango-distributed films, and advertisers quietly pulled out of deals. The financial consequences were immediate. From early September to late October, Mango Excellent Media stock price fell from nearly 36 yuan per share to under 29 yuan. Analysts estimated that the company had lost more than 7 billion yuan in market value in less than 2 months. Shareholders panicked. Executives scrambled to stabilize investor confidence. But the damage had already been done, and the storm was only growing stronger. Another name soon entered the chaos, Tian Hairong, an actress who had worked closely with Mango Media and starred in the movie Fire Seed. The film's release was meant to be a blockbuster comeback, but it became a disaster. On opening day, ticket sales were so poor that entire theaters sat empty. Some online users mockingly described the experience. The wind blowing through the cinema was louder than the applause. Even stranger, the film's lead actors Fu Daifeng and Jiang Yu refused to appear at the premiere and avoided any promotional posts on social media. It was as if they wanted to distance themselves from the project entirely. This silence sparked another round of questions. Did they know something the public didn't? Then came the backlash from parents and teachers. Reports surfaced that schools were being instructed to take students to watch Fire Seed to boost ticket sales. The catch: parents had to pay for the tickets. Outrage spread across social platforms. Families accused the education department of turning children into marketing tools for a collapsing film. Some parents even joked bitterly that my toddler was asked to wear pants to avoid accidents during a movie she doesn't even understand. While this might have sounded absurd, it revealed how desperate the system had become. When the government had to intervene just to fill empty theaters, it showed that public trust was already gone. But what followed next changed everything. International human rights organizations began to take notice. The petition calling for an investigation into Yu Menglong's case had surpassed 500,000 signatures, reaching the attention of Amnesty International, one of the world's most influential advocacy groups. When Amnesty International officially released its statement, the tone was clear and firm. The organization called on Chinese authorities to publicly disclose all information related to Yu Menglong's death, ensure the protection of witnesses, and end the intimidation of individuals speaking about the case. It was a small paragraph on their website, but it echoed around the world to many. This was a sign that the case had outgrown national borders. What began as a fan-led investigation had now become a matter of global human rights. David Griffiths, a spokesperson for Amnesty, reminded reporters that in 2021, A single amnesty report on forced labor in Xinjiang had cost China billions of dollars in trade losses. Now, their focus had turned toward the entertainment industry, a domain once considered immune from political scrutiny. The implications were massive. Western journalists began revisiting other suspicious cases in the Chinese entertainment scene. Media watchdogs started comparing censorship patterns, financial irregularities, and mysterious celebrity disappearances. Slowly, a narrative began to form that beneath the glamour and lights of China's entertainment empire lay a hidden network of control, silence, and fear. For fans, the news from Amnesty was both a validation and a new source of hope. They flooded comment sections with messages of gratitude and renewed determination. Yu's voice will not be silenced. One user wrote, "If one organization can speak, millions more will follow." And that's exactly what happened. The momentum shifted. Petitions multiplied. Discussions reached mainstream Western platforms. And journalists began contacting insiders willing to talk even anonymously. For the first time, those who once controlled the narrative began losing their grip. The same system that had thrived on censorship and intimidation was now being dismantled. One revelation at a time. Mango Media tried to recover. They issued apologies, replaced executives, and deleted thousands of old social media posts. But the internet remembers everything. Every screenshot, every video frame, every deleted comment had already been archived and shared globally. The more they tried to bury the story, the louder it became. By now, Menglong's tragedy was no longer just a story about one man. It had become a mirror reflecting the darkness within a powerful system, a system that valued profit over humanity, image over truth. And in that mirror, millions of people saw not just Yu, but every silenced voice before him. The fight for justice had only just begun, because every movement starts with a single voice. Yu's message to the world, "Find the truth," had done exactly that. It awakened a generation unwilling to stay silent. So if you are hearing this story today, know that your attention matters. Your awareness is a form of resistance. Every share, every comment, every conversation helps expose what those in power want to keep hidden. Do not let the truth fade. Do not let Yu Menglong's voice disappear again. And remember, sometimes it takes just one spark to burn through the darkness.